Thank you, Mr Chair.
I'm going to call Sue Moroney.
Thank you, Mr Chair. Well, they say that timing is everything, and in the timing of the debate on clause 7 we're now debating being on Disability Awareness Day. Who would have thought the last time that we were debating this particular, these amendments that I've brought forward was a Multiple Awareness Week. So it all seems like all the way through the debate on this bill, the stars have been aligning and begging us to do the thing that Clause 7 asks us to do. But it's not the first time with this bill. Mr Chair, I think it's pretty clear that I'm not going to get a third reading speech on this bill. That I think is a great shame, and it's the shame of the national government that I won't ever get to talk about the journey of this bill. And indeed, with clause 7, that's part of the journey of this bill, because we are only talking about clause 7 as being supplementary order papers. In fact, two different parts of supplementary order papers, because of, I guess, the politics that have been played with this bill all the way along. And so at Select Committee, we sadly were not able to report back a bill that the Select Committee could report back with amendment. It could only report it back without amendment because we couldn't get agreement. So Clause 7 is one of those. And Clause 7 is, I guess, bringing this as a private member. We used to call them private members bills. I think we only call them members bills these days. But what it effectively means is that you don't have access to the government advice and the government officials to be able to make sure that when you draft your bill, it's going to be entirely in order with what's going to be needed to be making the law change. And so Clause 7 is an example of exactly that. These are the regulations that I hadn't even thought about as a member, an ordinary old member looking at wanting to extend paid parental leave to 26 weeks. I thought in 2 pages you could actually do this by saying, let's have 26 weeks and we're going to amend the part that says what the duration is of paid parental leave, and that will do it. Well, Clause 7 is the part that would actually make it, if it had been accepted by this Parliament, would make it a complete piece of law that would make some sense when the people who administer the law were required to actually grant people their paid parental leave of 22 weeks on the 1st of July next year, and 26 weeks paid parental leave in July 2017, because that's how those regulations would be changed. Some of those regulations in Clause 7 are the form that people would fill in. You know, the actual form that people would fill in, the people who have had the child born prematurely, the people who have had the child born with a disability, the people who have had the joy of a multiple birth, they would be filling in that form, and Clause 7 would be is attempting to amend that form. People have asked questions around the disability part in particular. I think it's right and proper that I do traverse that on Disability Awareness Day. It is simply a definition to use, to say that one way of defining what a disability was going to be would be to refer to disabilities that were already accepted for government support. And we know that those are contentious. We know that doesn't cover everything that we would want it to do. But here's the other complication when talking about children born with disabilities and paid parental leave, is that, as members quite rightly said, many of these disabilities we don't know about until the child is some time older. We don't know that the child has got a hearing difficulty or a lack of hearing, for example, until much later on in their life. And so I had to think about, as a member, what does that mean? If you find out when your child is 2 that they actually had a disability since birth, can you actually go back and have your 6 months paid parental leave? I had to come to the crushing conclusion that no, you couldn't. The point of paid parental leave was actually having it at that time, at that critical time in those first 6 months, when the bonding and attachment was going to aid and abet that child's recovery, or that child's ability to get on in their life with their disability, which of course we know actually often makes people that very, very special person that they are. So these are the things that were quite complex to think about in bringing forward this particular range of amendments in Clause 7. Paid parental leave is critically important at that time.
I call Tracy Martin.
Thank you.